Hi, I'm Katrina Scior. I'm a clinical psychologist by training, and for the last 15 years I have been a senior lecturer in clinical psychology at UCL. Both my clinical work in the past and my research is concerned with people with learning disabilities, who we also refer to as people with intellectual disabilities. Now, a lot of people are confused about what it means to have a learning disability. First of all, they're people who've got significant impairments in their cognitive functioning, so that generally means an IQ below 70. They've got significant impairment in their adaptive functioning, so that's how they get on a day-to-day basis, and those difficulties have started in childhood. What our big research question is people with learning disabilities experience a lot of rejection, bullying, discrimination in their everyday lives, and we are trying to find ways to positively tackle that and reduce the negative attitudes, the exclusion and the discrimination they face on a regular basis. Why is this important to society? Well, it's long been recognized that people with learning disabilities have to face a lot of negative experiences, and life can be pretty tough, not just because of the learning disabilities and the problems that come with that, but very much because of other people's attitudes and very negative stance. So in 2006, the UN drew up a convention on the rights of people with disabilities. And essentially what it says is that people with disabilities have got the right, have got equal rights and the right to go about their life with all the usual freedoms accorded to human beings. People with learning disabilities come under that convention. The particular section of the UN Convention which we're focusing on is Article 8, which calls on governments to foster respect for the right and dignity of people with disabilities and to combat stereotypes, prejudices and harmful practices. What we do know, though, anecdotally, is that policies, legislation and positive action in line with Article 8 is highly variable across countries and across different localities. So in terms of the action that is needed to ensure greater equality and inclusion for people with learning disabilities, it's really at different levels. So first of all, there's action needed at the society level, so to tackle institutionalized stigma and discrimination. So there are things like putting policies in place, putting action in place to make sure that people can access general community facilities, that they're not discriminated against in employment, and that, for example, they are part of inclusive education models. At the level of the stigmatizer, we're focusing on individuals and their immediate communities to change their beliefs, their attitudes and their behavior. And then there's the level of the stigmatized, so those are the people who are subject to other people's prejudices and discrimination. Now, all these levels very much interact and affect one another, so it's not to say that one is more important than another, but our work at the moment, our research work, focuses on the level of the stigmatizer, so those are the people who may hold prejudices against people with learning disabilities and may not be very keen to accept them into society. The research work we've been doing recently, we've completed 2 randomized control trials to test whether brief film-based interventions, which we deliver via the internet, can have a positive effect on lay people in the general population. So we've done 2 studies. The first one is focused on lay people in the UK in general, and for the second study we've focused on members of the South Asian community, because we know that stigma associated with learning disabilities is increased in the South Asian community. And for both studies we showed people brief films where they hear from experts, from carers, from people with learning disabilities about what it means to have a learning disability and to experience rejection and negative attitudes. And we've also shown people brief films to tackle some of those negative beliefs much more head-on. We found with both studies that even very brief 10-minute film-based internet-delivered interventions can have positive effects on attitudes, and that at least some of those effects hold at 1 month follow-up. So that's very promising for something essentially that can be rolled out on a very large scale and can potentially be very cost effective. The other area of work we're doing is work in primary schools and secondary schools, because they are very fertile ground for tackling negative attitudes and really encouraging people in the future to be more accepting and welcoming and more willing to interact with people with learning disabilities.